Okay, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So today I'm dedicating this time. I'm sorry I logged in a bit late. There were technical issues that I had to solve. But we're here now. Inshallah, I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can for you. Whatever is related to the first half of the Ism, yes, everybody's here. So I'd like to see what questions you guys have. Would we be able to see the next 10-day semester on Bayyinah TV streaming, or is it elsewhere? It's actually elsewhere, and I actually wanted to take some time, let more people log in, and then I want to show you guys how that's going to work, inshallah. So it's a new URL. Yay, it's live. Yes, it is Epic Slayer, but I need questions. That's why I'm here. I'm not here to talk. I'm here to answer your questions. Okay. Let's see. Are the pair forms of the pointing words found in the Quran? Can Ustad Numan please write down in Arabic 8 easy examples and allow us to take screenshots? Hadani, these two men, hadaini. Sure. I mean, I was going to do that in the next round, but sure, I can show you that. I don't know how to hide comments now. There we go. Okay. So I'll show that to you. The pointers that I talked to you about were hada, hadihi, haulai, right? And the thing I told you about them is that they are non-flexible. So that means that the rafa' or the nasab or the jar version are exactly the same. What I skipped was the middle, hadani. Hadani has the ani at the end, and that's kind of the same as what you learned in muslimani, like that ani, which makes it two rafa', right? And if you remember, the nasab and jar version of muslimani was muslimaini, and that's why you actually get the nasab and jar version, hadaini and hadaini. And if hada means this, hadaini actually means these two. And this is a rare occurrence in the Quran. I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen in the Quran. For example, you have in the Quran, hadani khasmani ikhtasamu fi rabbihim. Hadani means these two. By the way, so the singular, the hada and hadihi, etc., are all non-flexible. The plurals are all non-flexible, but the middle column was flexible, which is why I skipped it. Because once it happens, it barely happens. And when it does happen, it's pretty straightforward. So it can be addressed when it happens. The way I think about teaching concepts in Arabic when it pertains to the study of the Quran is that if something occurs rarely, I either don't teach it until we discuss that ayah, right? Because that's probably the most effective way to do that. Oh my God, that's a rule. Oh, and that applies in this ayah. So instead of associating a concept in your notes, you associated it with an ayah, right? Especially a rare concept that's not going to happen over and over again. Like idafa, mudaf, mudafid is going to happen over and over again. Jar majrur is going to happen over and over again. But this pair thing is not going to happen over and over. I couldn't come up with 8 examples for you from the Quran. I'd have to make some up. Right, but just to discuss this does occur in the Quran. Hadani khasmani. Let me pull up the ayah number for you so you can have that as a reference. And I'll also show you which app I like to use to search Quran ayat, in Arabic. I mean, I have an iPhone, but I don't know. I think it's on Android also. There's 2 places. In qalu in hadani la sahirani. In hadani la sahirani. Right, those are the 2 places in the Quran. This first one is Taha, so 2063, and the second one is 1922. Or no, not 1922, 2219, sorry. Yeah, so this one is 2063, and this one is 2219. Okay, and so the word hadani, which I didn't teach you, is basically, once you hear ani, you should know it's 2 rafa. So it's these 2, but the rule's still the same. If you have an al after it, it's going to be a fragment, which means you cannot use is. And if immediately after the pointer you don't see an al, it's okay to drop an is there. So khasmani means 2 arguers, so these 2 are, or these are 2 arguers. Okay, well, that's one way of translating it. Or you can even say these 2 are arguing. That would be an okay translation. In hadani la sahirani, in is a complicated word here. You're not ready for that yet. So we'll just imagine it's not there for a moment and just look at hadani la sahirani. These two are truly magicians. So you can guess this is talking about the Pharaoh accusing Musa and Harun of being sorcerers. So when this staff thing happened, then the claim was made, Hadani lasahirani. These two are truly magicians. The lam is not a harf of jar, because the lam that's a harf of jar is this, is li. But this is not li, this is la. This is a different kind of lam that I haven't yet taught you. But nonetheless, this is pair, again, from the Muslim chart, lasahirani. So these two are sorcerers. I hope that answers that question. Jawad, you're on. Hamid, let me add you on. Jawad, you can help me read the comments, because it's hard for me to scroll and see everything. So if you see comments, let me know what's going on. Assalamu alaikum, by the way. You hear me, Jawad?
Jawad!
Okay, Waalaikum. I hear you now.
Okay. I did see one asking about partly flexible.
Okay.
We said that human partly flexible words can be plural masculine and singular feminine. Can they also be plural feminine?
Wait, repeat that question. Partly flexibles can be what? Let me write this down. What does this person say?
Human partly flexibles, like rusul,
Oh, human partly flexible. Okay, rusul.
can be plural masculine and singular feminine, but can they also be plural feminine?
Plural masculine or singular feminine, because they're a broken plural. But can they also be plural feminine? That's the question?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so let's take the word nisa. Nisa'un. Nisa'un is the plural of, crazy enough, it's the plural of imra'atun in Arabic. Imra'atun means a woman. So that's one of those crazy cases. A woman is called imra'atun, and women are called nisa. Totally different letters. But they decided. It was a barbecue thing. Okay, so now imra'atun, nisa'un being the broken plural, the rule is you can treat nisa'un as what they really are. So you can call them plural feminine. So you can say you won't say masculine here because they're really women. Or you can use the broken plural rule and you'll find them being treated as singular feminine. So yeah, it can happen. If the reality is that they're females, then yeah, the answer will be 3. Now, let's replace this word. Let's do another one by contrast. And I won't erase this, so I can scroll up and down and compare. If I say rajulun, which is a man, it's singular, a man. And then you have rijalun, which is men. The men's a broken plural. A broken plural can be treated what it really is. In this case, it would be plural and masculine. Or you can use the crazy rule and call it singular feminine. Right? So both of those can happen. I hope that answers that question. What's this Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? I can barely read it. In Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, can the word Allah and ar-Rahman be an idafa? Why not? If not, why? And does ism mawsuf is prioritized over idafa? Great question, Sam. Lebanos? Is that like an Australian way of saying Lebanese? I don't know. But anyway, if that's your real name, I'm sorry. Okay, so now here's the question about Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's good that you ask. Just know that proper names aren't mudaf ever. Ar-Rahman is not a proper name. Ar-Rahman is a proper description with an al. Allah is a proper name. Ibrahim is a proper name. Yusuf is a proper name. But An-Nabi or Ar-Rasul or Al-Mu'min, these are not proper names. Those are proper descriptions, right? They're generic words made proper. But if you have somebody's particular name, like Allah is Allah's particular name, then the word Allah will never be mudaf. And what does that mean in simple English? It just means that the word Allah will not be before of. So you're not going to find in the Quran Allah of anything, but you will find something of Allah, house of Allah, religion of Allah, messenger of Allah, book of Allah, judgment of Allah, mercy of Allah. Notice every time, if there is an idafa, the word Allah is playing the mudaf ilay role. The other question as part of that was, you have 2 rules. You've got the mudaf and mudaf ilay, and you've got the mawsuf, which is the noun, and the sifa, right? The 4 properties matching thing. Well, which one of these is priority? Mudaf ilay is always priority. Remember in mathematics, you guys did questions like these, 2 times, 4 plus 7. or not even parentheses, 2 times 4 plus 7, and multiplication before addition, right? Something comes before something. You can't do 4 plus 7 and then times it by 2. You got to do 2 times 4 and then add the 7, right? So multiplication takes priority. Well, you know what? Mudaf ilayh takes priority because you're not allowed to separate a mudaf from the mudaf ilayh, but the mawsuf is the second priority, not the first. So when you have multiple words, then you look for mudaf ilayh first, and then you figure out the sifas. And we'll see enough examples of that until that becomes second nature. So yeah, the mudaf ilayh is prioritized. Other questions, Jawad?
I heard that in Maliki Yawmiddin, Malik can't be sifa to Allah. Can you explain why?
Okay. How do I explain this to you? It is one of the names of Allah. I don't know why. If somebody said it cannot be a sifa to Allah, Malik alone can't be a sifa to Allah. Okay, let me explain that. Maybe that's what you mean. Let me change the font so that I'm more comfortable with writing. So Maliki. Come on. Maliki Yawmi ad-Din. Right? The concept I taught you is that a mudaf and a mudaf ilayh are to be looked together. So let's think about this not in Arabic for a moment. Let's think about this in English. If I say I am an Arabic teacher, which I'll say another way, a teacher of Arabic, right? It's as if the phrase teacher of Arabic is describing me, right? So I'm not just describing myself as a teacher. That's not enough, but I'm saying teacher of Arabic. I qualified it and I limited it to my teaching of the Arabic language. So let's take an easier example. I am the owner of a horse. I'm not, but I'm just saying example. I'm the owner of a horse. Well, my description is not that I'm the owner, because that's crazy. That would mean I'm the owner of I don't know what. But it's really the way I'm talking about myself is owner of the horse. And even if it comes as an adjective, like, Ali, the chef of the month. Ali, the chef of the month. So the description of Ali is chef of the month. It's not chef. You're not describing him as a chef. The context was you're describing him as the guy who won the contest and became chef of the month, right? So it's as if when you're describing, then the mudaf ilayh becomes one thing describing somebody or describing something, okay? So if I say, look at even another example. Islam, the religion of truth. Islam, the religion of truth. I'm not describing Islam as the religion. I'm describing Islam as the religion of truth. So this entire phrase is actually the adjective, not just religion. That would say very little, and that would just be any religion, right? Now, with that logic, if you come back to Maliki Yawmiddin, it's not just that he's owner that makes him adjective here, because he could be the owner of the skies, the earth, the owner of animals, the owner of the angels, the owner of whatever, right? So Allah is the owner of so many things. But in this particular context, he's describing himself as the owner of the day of judgment, the master of the day of judgment. And that's why the whole thing is an adjective, not just that one piece. And I think that's what you're referring to. And I hope that answers that question.
So this one is less, not an Arabic one, but somebody's asking before we start the next intensive, what should we do if we weren't able to attend since the first day? Like we started like on day 5 or something.
Is that even a question? Lose your friends, don't have a life, and go through all of them. Just do it. Put it on 1.5 speed. I talk fast anyway. Pause when your brain checks out. When you start losing concentration, get up and run around, bang your head on the wall, go make wudu, pray 2 rakahs, eat a protein bar, whatever you got to do, and then get back in it. You have 4 days. You need to go through all of that in the next 4 days. If you want to keep up, that's your only option. There is no rosy pill. Sorry. I need you to go through it. If you want to do this. If you want to do this, then these 2 months are going to be tough. This is not an easy schedule, I admit. 3 hours a day is not easy. You guys don't even pay 3 hours a day attention in like regular school. So I know it's not easy, but hey, I'm not here for easy. So that's what you got to do. If you missed recordings, if you missed a day, go back the day before that, and then that day, like let's just say if you missed day 6, right? Watch day 5 again, then day 6, and then day 7. Don't just watch that day you missed. Watch all 3. You need to do that. So you connect ideas together. That's the logic of the course. If you missed the first few days, you better go back and watch all of them. Okay? Other question?
Yeah, in the example in Surah Yasin, Tanzil al-Aziz al-Rahim, what's the rule for al-Aziz al-Rahim?
تنزيل العزيز الرحيم. Okay. So the question is, what is the rule for Al-Aziz Al-Rahim?
Yes, they're asking if this is Mawsuf Sifa.
Okay, it looks like it, right? It looks like a Mawsuf Sifa. So let's walk through that. For all of you, let's go through it a little slowly. Tanzila is light and no al, right? So it looks like a mudaf. And Tanzila means revelation. So I'll write that here. The revelation. And you'll see why I wrote the in a second, okay? And because I called it a mudaf, I'm going to put an of there. I'm kind of thinking ahead. The next word is jar, so clearly that's a mudaf ilayh, right? So the Al-Aziz is the final authority. So the final authority, meaning no authority is above that. That's called Al-Aziz, okay? The revelation of the final authority. All right. Now, Ar-Rahimi seems to have the same exact 4 properties as Al-Azizi. They're both jar, they're both masculine, they're both singular, they both have al on them, right? So they do match. Now, let's talk about that a little bit. In the introductory course, I told you when 2 words come together, 2 isms come together, and their properties match, then they become noun and adjective. When you grow up a little bit in Arabic, you'll learn that 4 properties match for a number of reasons. Adjectives is one of the most popular, but not the only one. So 4 properties matching happens for atf bayan. It happens for badal. It happens for atf. It can happen for atf, and it can also happen for sifa. So there's 4 actual big old reasons. We haven't covered them yet. But for now, I don't have to complicate that subject for you. I can simplify it. Simple way of looking at it is when you see Allah's names. So, because we're not just learning Arabic, we're learning Arabic of the Quran, right? So I can give you some shortcuts that aren't rules of Arabic, but they're rules of Arabic as applied to the Quran. Later on, you'll learn the larger rule. So let's take a shortcut this time because it's a short QA session. When you see Allah's names, right, then, and there's same properties, and you don't see the word Allah there, right? So we saw in Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the word Allah was there. When you saw Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, the word Allah was there, right? So the word Allah became the noun and the rest became adjectives of the word Allah. So that was pretty easy. But here, what you're going to think about, because the word Allah is in here, it doesn't say Tanzil Allahi. Sorry, the sequence got messed up. Tanzil Allahi Al-Azizi Ar-Rahimi. That's not what it says. That's not what it says. So the word Allah is not mentioned, right? If the word Allah was mentioned, we'd say Allah is the name, so therefore that's the noun, and these 2 are the adjectives. But that's not the case. When that's not the case, then this thing, the second name, is actually called something called a badal. And what that simply means is, in English, you just put a comma and mention the next name. The revelation of the final authority, the loving, the always loving and caring. If you've heard me talk about this before, it's okay. I don't mind boring you. I don't translate Ar-Rahim as merciful, because in English literature, mercy has to do with being spared, right? So soldiers showed mercy means they didn't shoot the guy. Or the police officer was merciful because he didn't give you a ticket. Or the judge was merciful because he reduced the sentence. right? Or, people beg for mercy when they're in hospitals. That's why many hospitals are called mercy hospital, right? Or merciful care, because you're reducing somebody's suffering. So the word mercy has to do with the reduction or the protection from suffering. But the word rahmah, so it's coming at it as if you're removing something negative. That's when the context of the word mercy is predominantly used in the English language. But in Arabic, the word rahmah actually has to do with the womb of a mother, which is defined predominantly by love and care. So translating Ar-Rahim as merciful, I see a problem with. I think it's probably better to just have, even if it takes more words to translate it. I think we called it the loving carer, is I think the Suhaib and I's, the loving carer is what we prefer. The always is there in the ya, but you'll learn that in sarf later on. Assalamu alaikum. If we use alternative words for the words which are on page 12, will they still be feminine? Some of them, most of them, no. So all the alternatives for hell, Jahannam, Hariq, Sa'ir, Jahim, Nar, like all of those are feminine, right? So all the words for hell are feminine. But let's just take the example of page 12. The word dar is feminine because the Arab said so. Right? But bait, which is another word for home, is masculine. So no, it didn't work. Right? I think it does work for the sun, Shams. So it's an on and off thing. Like land, we said ard is what? Ard is feminine because the Arab said so. Land is feminine. But balad, which is another word for land or country, is masculine. So it doesn't work. It's on and off. They're called mu'annath sama'i. You'll learn that later. They came to be heard as feminine over and over, and so we just coined it as that's just how we heard it. That's why they're feminine. So it's not a hard and fast rule, but it's rather an observation. Okay. Other questions?
If we're looking at dual and masculine plural and feminine plural, because the nasab and jar forms look the same, do we call those partly flexible?
No, you don't have to do that. Partly flexible is a category of words where the ending sounds are compromised. The fact that the nasab and jar are shared doesn't make them partly flexible. That's just the standard of Arabic. So yeah, you're right. They have that in common, right? When nasab jar look the same, then it's partly flexible. But no, when nasab jar ending sounds look the same, that's when we use the word partly flexible. Okay.
We're getting a lot of questions about the schedule for the next intensive.
Okay, so you want to talk about the schedule for the next couple of weeks or the rest of your life? What do you want to do? We can talk about the next couple of weeks. I'm going to start on Friday, inshallah, 9:30, same time the way I tortured you before. Where is that going to happen? Here's where it's going to happen. I'm going to show it to you on the browser, okay? You're going to go to dream.bayina.com. Okay, I've already logged in. Once you have a Bayina TV subscription, you're going to be asked to log in here. Farah, one of our colleagues, gave me her login credentials, so I use those to log in. Once you log in, you're going to see this really epic website with my headphones on backwards. I'm going to make sure that picture gets changed. And you see these links on top, home, live session. It's really tiny on the screen. Let me make that full screen. Take me away for a minute, okay? Maybe that'll help a little bit. So you'll see home, live session. That's where the live session is going to be. And when you don't have a live session, it'll just say the schedule on there. The previous session. So right now, all the previous sessions from previous classes are all here. And if you click on, let's just say day one, right? Then not only do you get day one, me acting like I'm having a heart attack, but you also get the transcript for that day. So the PDF is here too. And then on top, there's a study material section where all the materials are organized. So you can download the PDFs there. So previous sessions, live sessions, and you log out. So you have your Bayina TV account, but you also have the dream.bayinatv.com. That's the address. I'll put that on in big words here. I'll come back on the camera. So dream.bayina.com. So you'll see a change to that site as the days progress, but on Friday, it'll be the final version. But you can log in already. If you have a Bayina TV account, and it's active, then you can log in there now. That's where our classes are going to be. Okay. And the schedule, again, is 10 days in a row. I don't think we'll need 3 hours this time. I think don't hold me to that, but I won't rush through the material yet again. We'll do as much material, but more time on practice. And if I feel you've had enough practice for that day, then we may call days early. The intensives are going to go like that. They're going to be 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours. Maybe for self, depending on how painful it is. Maybe the next 2 intensives after the next one, I'll make them 2 hours. We'll see, but I'd rather keep it 3 and really like destroy you. Then after that, when all of that's over, then we're going to go down to a 5-day-a-week schedule, and you'll have a class that's between 40 minutes to an hour long, no more than that. So 60 minutes will be our absolute cutoff. In fact, concepts will be taught for 40 minutes, no more. And if we have 20 minutes left, they'll only be used for practice. So that's going to be the structure, inshallah. Please explain question 3 and 4 on page 3 of the workbook. Okay. I hope they're referring to the same workbook, but let's see. Question 3 and 4 on what did you say? Page 3. Okay, page 3, question 3 and 4. I hope this is what they're asking about. I'll explain it. It says he buys his chocolate milk happily. And then it says he knows his children like it, but he doesn't share. Okay. So this is about finding the rafa, nasab, and jar, just in English, so you can identify those concepts. The first thing to do in English is to identify the fi'l, buys, because that's present tense, and you're not going to label that, but it will help you label everything else. How do you find the rafa? Well, who did the act of buying? He did, so he's rafa. What did he buy? He bought chocolate milk, so that's nasab, because it's a detail. It's a question about the fi'l, right? So rafa, the doer of it is rafa, the detail about it is nasab. And then how does he buy it? He's in a happy mood when he buys it. He buys it happily. So that would be another nasab, right? But I skipped the word his. Why? Because it has nothing to do with buying. The questions that answer the nasab detail are never about whose milk is it? Whose chocolate milk is it? So this is actually is jar. Why? Because it's chocolate milk of his. So those are the rafa and the nasab and the jar in this sentence. That makes sense to everybody? I'm going to go through that again. By the way, you can have your own questions, but when somebody else asks a question, then drop your question and focus in, because you'll learn something from it. And then we'll come to your question. And when so you don't say, no, but what about my question? No, I'll get to your question, but every question is a learning opportunity for everybody. Okay, so treat it like that, and that'll really help you in your learning. Okay, are there questions about this so far?
Not about this.
Okay, so let me finish that number 4. He knows his children like it, but he doesn't share. Let's start with the easy part. He doesn't share. But would be a harf, because it makes no sense unless another word comes after it. He would be the doer, and the doesn't share would be the fi'l. So we don't have to label that. So it's because he's the doer, that's rafa. Now this part, he knows. So knows is the fi'l. He would be the rafa because he's the doer. He knows. What does he know? He knows this entire thing. This is a little bit trickier. I don't know why we kept it in the booklet. So some actions, some acts like knowing, like if I know you're tired, right? And the question is, what do you know? I don't just know you. I don't just know tired. I know the entire concept, you are tired, right? So sometimes an entire sentence becomes nasab. Not by sound, but conceptually nasab. So this is a bit more tricky. Inshallah, when we do sentence structure, you'll see that later. But the point is, the principle is the same. Acts, any action, like here the action is knows, right? The knowing has a doer and knowing has a detail. But sometimes details aren't just a single word. Sometimes details are entire sentences. And again, this is for a later time, inshallah. Okay, go ahead with more basic questions.
Somebody asked about mudaf and mudaf ilayh. They said,
Okay.
I don't understand it.
Okay, I can explain it to you. If you don't understand mudaf mudaf ilayh, look at this. If you say the messenger of Allah, there are two words, messenger and Allah. Well, first of all, they both have to be isms. So this, what I'm about to teach you, will only work if both sides are isms. How do we know that's an ism? Well, Allah is a name, therefore it's an ism. Messenger is a person, therefore it's an ism. Names and persons, all isms, right? So these are both isms. When two words in English have an of in between them, right? Then the first word is called the mudaf, and the second word is called the mudaf ilayh. Simple as that. So far, at least in English, it's easy. So if I say the building, or not the building, the construction of the building, right? So then the construction would be the mudaf and the building would be the mudaf ilayh. Simple as that, right? So at least now you know what mudaf ilayh is in English. Before we do Arabic, at least you know what it is in English. Now, when you convert this to Arabic, the construction part, which is called the mudaf, you have to do two things to it. You have to make sure that it's light and it does not have no al. It cannot have the al. This guy. It can't have it. But it does in English. It's right there. But you can't have it in Arabic. Now, if you don't know what light is, that means you don't remember the properties of the ism. So you got to watch the first two videos, first 2 or 3. Okay? And the second word, which is the building in this case, the mudaf ilayh, would be, it has to be jar. Okay? So it would be like, I'll remove the constructionu buildingin or al-buildingi. I hope that helped. That's the elevator pitch version of mudaf ilayh. Other questions?
There were questions about you said you were going to show them what app you use, and also if there are any dictionaries that they can use.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, by the way, the Bayyinah TV app will not be used for the Dream program. The Bayyinah TV app will have archives, but the live sessions will only happen on dream.bayyinah.com. I mean, get that in your head. So don't log into Bayyinah TV to find the live content. There you will find the recorded content. Here, you'll find the live content. So once you get your account, you got to go here for the Dream program. For those of you that just want to use the Bayyinah TV service for everything else, then you go to Bayyinah TV, like the Quran commentary and all that other stuff, right? But anyway, the app, I don't know how to show this to you. Let me walk over to the camera because I don't know how to pull it up on the PC. Where's the about? Okay, I'm going to come over. Good thing I have let me enlarge this. And I'm going to pull up a chair and make this nice and awkward. Wow, you can't see that at all. Let me see if I can fix the focus on the camera. Almost. No, it's too bright. Let me turn the brightness down on my phone. We're getting somewhere. Except for the shades. Oh, my hand. Is that my hand? Oh. I think it's the shadows. Yeah, I can't show it to you like that. I'll have to get it on my iPad and show it to you. But it's on Quran. But I really want to show you its features. So inshallah, I'll probably make a video about it and show it to you. You go back to focusing on me. But it's called Al-Quran. Lowercase al and then capital Quran, and it's on the app store. And if you have the Arabic keyboard, it's the quickest way to search for ayat.
Ustad, I sent you the link for it so you can show it on your computer.
Oh, cool. How do I do that?
It's in the private chat.
Okay, let me see. There it is. Okay.
Yeah, we can't see the screen.
Yeah. Let me just go there and. Okay, there we go. That's the app. I'll give you full screen, so you guys can take a screenshot if you like. What I really love about this app is I don't use any of this. I don't use the translation. I don't use the font size. I don't use the display translation. I don't use the reciters. I don't like Quran apps have like 80,567 features. I don't use any of them. I use the search feature for this app, and it's priceless. To me, the search feature is absolutely priceless on this app. Why? Because, and let me turn to myself and I'll tell you. So when you're searching through the Arabic of the Quran, there are two kinds of searches. There's a root search, which means if I search for Ain, Lam, and Mim, right? Let me put that on the screen so you can see. So if I search for this word in the Quran, right? The search will give me Alima, Allama, Muallim, because it has Ain, Lam, Mim in it, Ta'lim, Ta'lim, I'lam, any variation, right? And that's too broad. Like that gave me every variation of that word occurring in the Quran. And that's kind of, some people want to do that kind of search. That's not typically the kind of search I want to do. What happens with me is sometimes I heard an ayah, like you're listening to a lecture and somebody quoted an ayah, and you kind of remember one or two words from it. Like you remember min rabbihim. So you type in this, or you don't have to use the harakas. You can just say min rabbihim, like that. And you can search that here. It'll find the exact ayat that have min rabbihim in it. So you take the unique phrase. You don't have to remember the entire ayah, but if you remember one thing from that ayah that stuck out and you know how to spell it properly, you can search for that. It'll find that exact ayah in a split second. So somebody asked hadani, right? Where's hadani in the Quran? So I know that's a rare occurrence in the Quran. So I typed in hadani and the two ayat popped up. So this is, as you become more familiar with the Quran, then just using one particular word or two words or a small phrase to find the ayah or all the other occurrences of that ayah, it's just an absolutely priceless app for that. What else was I going to show?
They were asking about dictionaries, but before that, they're asking about is this one on Android too?
I don't know. Android, I'm allergic, so I don't know. But I'm sure it is. As far as dictionaries are concerned, right now I wouldn't worry about it at this level. If you really like, just make use of Quran.com for now. Eventually, part of our course is I'll teach you how to use a proper Quran dictionary, but I'll say a few words about dictionaries now. So you can go to Quran.com and whatever ayah it won't give you like a detailed translation, but let's say Surah Yunus, I clicked on Surah Yunus, and you can hover over a word and it can tell you what it means, right? And I believe they have corpus on here too. No, that's just reflected. But I think if you go to corpus.quran.com, I'll write that address for you too. Word by word. So here, this is language I didn't show you. Like I didn't use these words with you, but you see, so the B is like red and the ismi is blue, right? And here it says B prefix preposition B. That's their English, big word English way of saying harf of jar. And genitive is the English word for jar, masculine noun. So it's the jar and the majroor, and they give you the Arabic too, jar or majroor, right? So the word Allah, you know how we said the word Allah? I didn't say Allah. And the way you say that in Arabic is lafzul jalala, the word of glory, which is jar. So what lafzul jalala majroor. So it's kind of like a quick answer key for basic grammar going on in an ayah. Ar-Rahmani. Sifa majrura. Sifa means it's an adjective and it's in jar form, right? So it gives you some basic information about grammar. I warn you, I'm telling you this, but this is not the most beneficial for you at this stage, because some part of you says, wow, There's an answer key to the whole Quran on this website. I'm so happy for that website that it exists, and it gives me peace of mind that it's there. Now I don't have to learn because the data exists. So just because you downloaded an app or you have a PDF in your file on your computer doesn't mean you have it in your head. Al-ilmu fi sudur la fi sutur. Knowledge lies in the chest, not in lines of paper or not on resources. So don't worry about resources right now. Worry about me. Worry about what I'm giving you. When dictionary time will come, I will beat you with a dictionary. It's coming. But chill for now. Chill. What else?
Can we go over page 5, question 34?
Sure, we can go over page 5, question 34. I love page 5, question 34. It's like my favorite thing ever. Page 5, question 34. Oh yeah, cool. Samawatin. All right. Well, atin is an ending combination. It's the feminine ending combination. So it's like muslimatun, muslimatin, muslimatin. So it's plural. Terrible. I'll write it on the Word document. It's better. So the word is muslimat or samawatin, sorry. Samawatin. So it's plural, feminine, and nasab or jar. Right? Now, one thing I didn't tell you in the class, but now that you've grown up, I can tell you, is how do I break this to you? I wasn't entirely truthful. I told you non-human broken plurals are treated like she. Remember that? Non-human broken plurals treated like she. Well, there was more. I withheld information. It's called lying by omission. Non-human plurals can be treated like she. Can be meaning, and I noticed I took the word broken out. Yeah, it's a separate thing. The reason I said that is atin is used sometimes for women, like mu'minatin, qanitatin, salihatin, muslimatin. Those are people. But atin is also used for non-humans, like ayatin, samawatin, skies, bayinatin, clear proofs, right? Tayyibatin, good and pure things, salihatin, good deeds. So it can be used for things that are not human. When atin is being used for non-humans, you might find the she usage also, which means the correct answer for samawatin can also be singular feminine, nasab or jar, even though we don't know the meaning is plural. I was going to teach you later, but since you asked in the QA, it's okay to give you new headaches. You asked for it.
So talking about the same word, is this word not considered a broken plural if we're adding a wow?
Because that's again a later discussion. Sometimes it's acceptable to replace certain letters in Arabic without considering the word broken. And the rules for that are coming later on when we study spelling structures. The fact that a combination got used means it's a regular plural. That's really what it boils down to. Others?
Yeah. Page 14, questions 4 and 21.
Page 14, questions 4 and 21?
4 and 21.
Okay. Okay, we just did samawatin, so I think you guys can have an easier time with this one. Sayyiatin first, let's write the meanings down. It means sins. So let's do that together. In fact, I'll just write here. I wrote samawatin, right? Now I'm going to write sayyiatin, and the answers are exactly the same because it's a non-human plural. So you can, because it's atin, you can consider it plural feminine, nasab or jar, but also because it's a non-human word, sins, you can get the answer one feminine, nasab and jar. What that really boils down to is this. You know how nouns and adjectives have to have the same four properties, right? So it could be that you can say sayyi'atin kabiratin, big sins. Or you can say sayyi'atin kabiratin, big sins. In other words, the adjective could be, the adjective says this word is plural feminine, so I'm going to be plural feminine, atin. Or the adjective could say, hey, this word is non-human, so I'm going to be singular feminine, kabiratin. Or kabiratan, actually, because it could be nasab or jar, depending on what it is. But that's really why we do that, because you might find an adjective that matches with it, or you might think that it's not matching, but it does. Okay. Oh, and what else was there? This question?
21.
21?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's do 21. Is there a follow-up to that, or just I want to explain 21?
Just explanation.
Okay. So you have the Arabic word hadiqatun. Hadiqatun means a garden. Okay? And hada'iqa or hada'iqa would be gardens. So let's discuss first what the word means, hada'iqa. Notice, as a student of Arabic, you should have observed that hada'iqa was not heavy, because I said normally a word should be heavy, right? So it's light. It's instead of being hada'iqan, it's hada'iqa, because some broken plurals. No, before I do that, you know that a word should normally be heavy, and it has to have a good reason to be light. Okay. So now let's forget about hada'iqa for a moment and think about partly flexibles. Partly flexibles are either non-Arabs or places. They end with u, a, and a, like Yusufu, Yusufa, and Yusufa. Here's another place where I didn't tell you the whole truth, which is coming in the next intensive. Non-Arabs and places are just 2 of 7 categories where things are partly flexible. Some broken plurals are also partly flexible. We'll learn about which ones. So the thing is, hada'iqa actually happens to be a broken plural. At your level, if you said this is singular feminine, because I know it's a broken plural and it's nasab, and it's common, I would have been okay with that. But actually, you can also say that it's singular feminine, nasab or jar, common, because it's a broken plural. The rafa is hada'iqu, the nasab is hada'iqa, and the jar is also hada'iqa. Somebody asked the question, can inna affect a word that is after the ayah? Meaning, because the inna and its victim can be far apart from each other. Can it affect beyond the ayah? Well, look at this. Inna lil muttaqina mafazan. And then the next ayah, hada'iqa wa a'naban wa kawa'iba atraban wa ka'san dihaqan. I'm going to make the words that are nasab red. Nasab, 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 together, packaged together, nasab, nasab, and then again, nasab, nasab. And guess why they are all nasab? Because inna be killing it. Inna made mafazan, nasab hada'iqa, nasab a'naban, nasab kawa'iba, nasab atraban, by extension, nasab ka'san dihaqan, nasab. So yeah, inna can go on. Inna can move on. Other questions?
So the majority of questions we're getting are all tech related.
Okay. Tech issues will be solved in the next coming days. For now, if you're having trouble with logging in or getting the sign up, I think the Dream page that I told you where you can apply for a gift and give a gift has now been fixed. So I'll show you that again. So you go to bayina.tv, and you go to the bottom here, and at the very bottom you see give a gift. That's if you want to sponsor somebody, and apply for a gift. That would be here. And I think both of them are now functioning properly. And if they're not, just let us know, and inshallah we'll work on that. But I think there was a small glitch and they fixed it. So if you'd like to sponsor somebody here, and if you'd like to get a subscription here, and I told you what an amana this is. So that's it for today. We had a 50-minute session instead of a 30-minute session, but then again, I was late, so that's okay. Inshallah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bring your questions, and we can take another day to talk about whatever ism questions you have. But really great questions, alhamdulillah. Keep it up. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.